Okay, everybody, James Krasnerick here, back for the second part of my show today. This weekend was the 2013 NFL Draft, and several teams needed to inject their rosters with young talent to replace veterans that are no longer there, or veterans that may soon no longer be there, or just players that haven't done what they've been asked to do. I'm going to just take a look. I'll look at the other 31 teams later, but I wanted to look at my team first, and that would be the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, I mean, a lot of people have been downing the Steelers on this draft, and I don't see why. Because we had a really good draft last year, landing David DeCastro. He fell to us so far in the draft, and this year, you know, another great player drops to us, Georgia linebacker Jarvis Jones. I mean, he's a very, very talented pass rusher. Not quite as good as James Harrison, the man will probably be replacing. But I think the linebacker out of Georgia, who's a great character guy, somebody with Steelers needed in that regards, it really, really, really was someone that I'm very, very happy the Steelers took. Because I did several mock drafts for the Steelers. I had us taking Cordero Patterson in one of them. I had us taking Barkevious Mingo, the linebacker at LSU, in another one. But I think we got the best pick here because Jarvis Jones is a very, very versatile linebacker. He played in Georgia's defense and was a major contributor. So I think it was a great thing. He'll have Lamar Woodley on the side. He'll have Steve McClendon and Brett Kiesel in front of him. He'll be able to really develop, and I think by the time his second or third year rolls around, he's going to be a very, very talented player and a very, very incredibly hard to stop force in this league. I really, really like the pick. The second pick in the draft was the 48th overall pick. Was Le'Veon Bell, the running back out of Michigan State. Now, I had us taking Eddie Lacy in another one of my mock drafts. But Le'Veon Bell is a very, very talented running back. Did 24 reps to combine. His 40-yard dash was 4.6, which is not bad. He's a big back. I mean, you just look at his size. I mean, he's 6'1", 230, which is a pretty good size for a running back. He's a north-south runner, which is the kind of running back the Steelers need because our strength is towards the inside of our offensive line. He has a very, very good spin move, and he's underrated in his quickness and his ability to catch the ball to the backfield. He had over 60 catches last year in Michigan State's offense. Was one of their better receivers. However, the drawback is with his height. He's 6'1". You ideally would run a running back between 5'9" and 5'11", so he doesn't have any chance of really providing too big a target to hit. Doesn't have much breakaway speed, and he holds the ball away from his body at times, even though his fumbling has not been an issue. Bell will need to improve to become a better running back in this league. I think he's got the potential. I think the Steelers did a great pick. I like him over Eddie Lacy because Eddie Lacy had some injury issues when he was at Alabama. And besides, Eddie Lacy had 3 first-round picks on his offensive line in front of him this year. I know Chance Warmack was one of them. And I think he had another guy taken ahead of him too. So, he's had some help. Le'Veon Bell has not had that great of an offensive line in front of him. But I think it was a good value pick. I think we needed a running back, definitely. And I'm very, very happy with the Steelers getting this guy. The third round pick was interesting. It was Marcus Wheaton. Now, the thing about Marcus Wheaton is that the talented receiver out of Oregon State, he's not a big guy. He's 5'11", 189. But he's very athletic. And in track, he was a very, very talented track runner. He's very quick. And in 2012, he had 91 catches for 1,244 yards and 11 touchdowns. I watched the bowl game between Oregon State and Texas this year. And he was all over the field. Texas could not cover him. And he has been compared in this draft to another Steeler receiver, Antonio Brown. We get another Antonio Brown on the team, I got no problem. He's very, very fast. He's an underrated route runner. He's pretty thick considering his size, only 189. And he can play a whole bunch of different places on the field. He can line up, he can go deep, he can do an in route, he can go out route, he can do a slot. He can do it all. And I think the fact we got him in the draft was a very, very much a steal. But he does need to improve his blocking, and I think he will do that because Steeler receivers are known to be good blockers. And I think I think that's the one part of his game he has to improve, and the fact that he's raw just coming out of college. But once we get him worked in there with Sanders, Brown, and other guys like Cotchery, I think he'll be just fine. But I have a couple other picks I'll discuss because I'm only going to discuss a couple more of them. The rest of the draft was at 100. In the fourth round, we took safety Shamarko Thomas of Syracuse and quarterback Landry Jones of Oklahoma. And then we took, in the fifth round, cornerback Terry Hawthorne of Illinois. Then the sixth, we took wide receiver Justin Brown of Oklahoma, linebacker Vince Williams, Florida State, and then the seventh round, Nick Williams, the D tackle from Samford. But the pick that I'm really interested in is Landry Jones. The thing about it is this. Ben Roethlisberger's 31. He's old. You know, how many good years does he have left? And yes, I know, Landry Jones was not an incredible player in Oklahoma. I mean, he was a first-round talent last year, and he really did not have that great a last year at Oklahoma. I mean, his final year at Oklahoma, kind of inconsistent. Completed 66% of his passes for 4,267 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 picks. Now, his best season was in 2010, when he threw for 38 touchdowns the year after Sam Bradford left. But Landry Jones, I think, can be a future starting quarterback in this game. I thought he was the second or third best quarterback in this draft class. For one, I thought the Bills were dumb to take E.J. Manuel over Geno Smith or Ryan Nassib, either one of them. But I'll get to that later. My opinion is I think we got a pretty good player this late in the draft. And whether he will actually be able to step in and take over for Ben Roethlisberger in a few years, maybe. But the thing about it is he doesn't have to play yet. He can wait a few years like what the Packers did with Aaron Rodgers. They drafted him in 2005 and he didn't start until 2008. So, I mean, I think that's a really, really good position for him to be in because you have to understand something. The Steelers, they don't need a guy to start right now. They need guys to help back Ben up, but they don't need anybody to start now. In about 2 or 3 years, Ben's probably going to be in crutches, and Landry Jones can then step in and be the starter. But the pick that I liked the most in this draft was Shamarko Thomas. And the reason why I like Shamarko Thomas is because, for one, he's fast. 4.42 40-yard dash time. 28 reps to combine, so he's strong. 40-inch vertical, athletic. And Mike Mayock, the NFL draft expert, says he reminds me of Bob Sanders. If this guy turns out to be as good as Bob Sanders, we're in good shape. For most of you who don't remember, Bob Sanders was the Colts defensive back years ago, and in 2007 was the Defensive Player of the Year. Bob Sanders is a lot like Troy Polamalu. Very instinctive, incredible force in the running game. Not quite as good as Troy, but still similar style. I mean, he's a little short for a defensive back, only coming in at 5'9". He has been a safety and a linebacker in his career. I mean, he leaves his feet to take some tackles. But, damn, he is tough. He's a very good blitzer, and he's very aggressive. And I think not only on the defense will be good, but in special teams. Because you know he's not going to start right away. As long as Troy and as long as Clark are still playing, Shamar Thomas is not going to play a whole lot. But when he does get his chance, look for him to make a big impact. Both figuratively and literally. I see a big future for this kid. Alright, that's all I have to talk about the Steelers draft. I'll get to the NFL draft in its entirety in my next segment. I'll be right back.